First Contact and Invasion. The night sky over the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico shimmered with countless stars, a view Dr. Samantha Chen had never tired of in her decade-long career as a SETI researcher. But tonight was different. As she adjusted the massive radio telescope, her hands trembled with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "This is it," she whispered to herself, eyes fixed on the oscilloscope. The rhythmic pulses that had first caught her attention 2 weeks ago were back, stronger than ever. These weren't random cosmic noises or the faint echoes of dying stars. They were structured, complex, and undeniably artificial. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. Within hours, observatories around the world confirmed Samantha's discovery. The signal's origin was pinpointed to a star system just 40 light-years away. As news of potential alien contact spread, the world erupted in a frenzy of speculation, fear, and hope. Governments scrambled to form response plans, religious leaders sought to reconcile their doctrines with the new reality, and ordinary people looked to the skies with a mixture of wonder and apprehension. For the first time in history, the nations of Earth united under a common purpose, preparing for first contact. But they weren't prepared for what came next. Exactly 1 month after the initial signal detection, the skies above every major city on Earth lit up with an otherworldly glow. Massive ships, each the size of a small moon, materialized in low orbit. Their hulls shimmered with an iridescent material unknown to human science, and they moved with an impossible grace that defied the laws of physics as humanity understood them. The world held its breath, waiting for a sign, a message, anything to indicate the aliens' intentions. That sign came in the form of a global broadcast, transmitted simultaneously to every electronic device on the planet. A holographic figure appeared, humanoid in basic shape, but with blue-tinted skin, large, almond-shaped eyes, and a head that tapered to a point. When it spoke, its words were translated into every known human language. "People of Earth, I am High Commander Zarkon of the Zarkonian Empire. Your world now falls under our domain. Resistance is futile. Submit, and you may yet find a place within our glorious empire." The message was short, but its implications were enormous. This wasn't a peaceful first contact. It was an invasion. As panic gripped the globe, world leaders convened an emergency session of the United Nations. Dr. Chen, as the discoverer of the initial signal, was called to advise. In a tense meeting room in New York, she found herself face to face with the most powerful people on the planet. "Dr. Chen," the U.S. President addressed her, his face grim. "In your expert opinion, what are we dealing with here?" Samantha took a deep breath. "Mr. President, distinguished leaders, based on the technology we've observed, the Zarkonians are centuries, if not millennia, ahead of us. Their ability to traverse vast distances of space, their energy manipulation capabilities, they're beyond anything we've even theorized." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Then, the Chinese premier spoke up. "So you're saying we should surrender? That resistance truly is futile." Samantha's eyes flashed with determination. "No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Yes, they're advanced. Yes, they're powerful. But we're humanity. We've faced impossible odds before and triumphed. We've split the atom, cured diseases, and reached the moon. We've survived ice ages, asteroids, and our own destructive tendencies. We're resourceful, adaptable, and above all, we're fighters." Her words seemed to ignite a spark in the room. The leaders nodded, a newfound resolve visible on their faces. But before any concrete plans could be made, alarms blared throughout the building. Outside the windows, the New York skyline was suddenly illuminated by searing beams of energy raining down from the Zarkonian ships. The invasion had begun. Across the globe, similar scenes unfolded. London, Tokyo, Moscow, Beijing. Every major city became a battleground in a matter of minutes. The Zarkonians' energy weapons cut through Earth's most advanced defenses like they were paper. Yet, even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity refused to go down without a fight. Air forces around the world scrambled their jets, engaging in desperate dogfights with Zarkonian fighters. On the ground, tanks rolled through burning streets, their shells barely scratching the alien war machines. In orbit, the International Space Station became an impromptu command center, its crew working tirelessly to coordinate Earth's defenses and gather intelligence on the invaders. Amidst the chaos, acts of incredible bravery and ingenuity emerged. In San Francisco, a group of hackers managed to temporarily disable a Zarkonian ship shields, allowing Earth forces to land a significant blow. In the skies over Dubai, a daring pilot sacrificed herself to bring down an alien craft, protecting thousands of civilians. Dr. Chen found herself in the heart of the resistance, working with a team of international scientists to analyze Zarkonian technology and find a weakness. As they pored over data in a hidden bunker, a thought struck her. "The signal," she muttered, then louder, "the original signal." Her colleagues looked at her in confusion. "Don't you see?" Samantha explained, her eyes alight with realization. "They sent that signal knowing we'd detect it. They'd wanted us to know they were coming. But why? Why not just attack without warning?" As the implications of her words sank in, a new hope began to form. Perhaps the Zarkonians weren't as invincible as they appeared. Perhaps in their arrogance, they had made a crucial mistake. As the first day of the invasion drew to a close, Earth was battered but unbroken. Cities lay in ruins, millions were displaced, but the human spirit remained undefeated. In hidden bunkers, secret labs, and makeshift command centers around the world, humanity began to rally. The Zarkonians had made their move. Now, it was Earth's turn to respond. Resistance and discovery. The weeks following the initial Zarkonian assault were a blur of chaos, destruction, and desperate resistance. Major cities around the globe lay in ruins, their once proud skylines reduced to twisted metal and crumbling concrete. Yet, from the ashes of defeat, humanity's indomitable spirit began to rise. In the sprawling network of underground bunkers beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Samantha Chen worked tirelessly with a team of international scientists and military strategists. The facility, originally designed as a Cold War-era fallout shelter, had been rapidly repurposed into the heart of Earth's resistance movement. "We need to understand their technology," Samantha insisted during a high-level briefing. "Every advanced civilization has its vulnerabilities. We just need to find the Zarkonians." General Marcus Hawthorne, a grizzled veteran who now led what remained of the United States military, nodded grimly. "Agreed, Doctor. But how do you propose we do that when we can barely get close to their ships without being vaporized?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a quiet Japanese quantum physicist, spoke up. "What if we don't need to get close?" All eyes turned to her as she continued. "The Zarkonians use some form of quantum entanglement for their communications. If we can tap into that network, we might be able to gather intel without them even knowing we're there." The idea was audacious, bordering on impossible with current human technology. But in these desperate times, the impossible had become a daily necessity. Over the next few days, as Zarkonian forces continued to establish control over Earth's major population centers, a daring plan was put into motion. Special forces teams from a dozen nations, working in concert for the first time in history, began a series of high-risk missions to salvage Zarkonian technology from crashed ships and damaged equipment. Each mission was a knife's edge between success and disaster. In the ruins of London, a British SAS team managed to extract a partially intact communication device, losing two of their own in the process. Outside Beijing, Chinese operatives recovered fragments of a Zarkonian power core, the strange, pulsing artifact nearly killing them with its alien radiation. As the salvage technology arrived at the Rocky Mountain facility, Dr. Chen and her team worked around the clock to unravel its secrets. Progress was painstakingly slow, each breakthrough accompanied by countless setbacks. But gradually, a picture began to emerge. Their entire network is based on a quantum matrix, Samantha explained to the facility's leadership, her eyes red-rimmed from lack of sleep but bright with excitement. It's incredibly advanced, but it's also incredibly interconnected. If we can disrupt one part of it, we might be able to bring down the whole thing. General Hawthorne finished, a predatory grin spreading across his face. But the Zarkonians were not idle during this time. Their forces continued to spread across the globe, establishing fortified bases and beginning the systematic exploitation of Earth's resources. Millions of humans were rounded up into vast labor camps, forced to work on massive construction projects whose purpose remained ominously unclear. Yet even in these dark times, hope refused to die. Resistance cells sprang up in occupied territories, carrying out daring raids and sabotage missions. In the mountains of Afghanistan, battle-hardened guerrilla fighters taught their tactics to a new generation of freedom fighters. In the dense Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes used their intimate knowledge of the land to run circles around the alien invaders. The tide began to turn when Dr. Tanaka made a crucial breakthrough. By piggybacking on the quantum communications network, she managed to intercept and decrypt a small fraction of Zarkonian transmissions. The intelligence gathered was invaluable, providing insight into the alien strategies, capabilities, and most importantly, their weaknesses. One piece of information stood out. The Zarkonians were vulnerable to certain frequencies of electromagnetic radiation. Their advanced technology, so dependent on precise quantum states, could be disrupted by carefully calibrated EM pulses. Armed with this knowledge, the resistance began to plan its first major offensive. The target, a Zarkonian processing facility in the Australian outback, where the aliens were refining rare earth elements crucial to their technology. The attack was a masterpiece of coordination, as a diversionary force of Australian and New Zealand troops engaged the facility's outer defenses. A small team led by Dr. Chen herself infiltrated the heart of the complex. Their mission: to plant a series of EM pulse generators designed to overload the facility's systems. The operation was fraught with danger. Samantha, more accustomed to laboratories than battlefields, found herself in the midst of a firefight, alien energy weapons sizzling past her head as she worked to activate the pulse generators. In a heart-stopping moment, she came face to face with a Zarkonian soldier, its alien features twisted in what might have been surprise or anger. Time seemed to stand still as they stared at each other, two beings from vastly different worlds. Then, acting on instinct, Samantha activated the EM pulse. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The Zarkonian's weapon sputtered and died, its combat armor locking up and rendering it immobile. As alarms blared and chaos erupted throughout the facility, the human forces pressed their advantage. For the first time since the invasion began, the Zarkonians were on the defensive, their superior technology rendered useless by the ingenious human countermeasure. The Battle of the Outback, as it came to be known, marked a turning point in the war. News of the victory spread like wildfire, reigniting hope in the hearts of billions. Humanity had bloodied the nose of their supposedly invincible oppressors, proving that the aliens could be fought and beaten. But the war was far from over. As Dr. Chen and her team were extracted from Australia, reports came in of increased Zarkonian activity worldwide. The aliens, stung by their defeat, were mobilizing their forces on an unprecedented scale. In low Earth orbit, the massive Zarkonian motherships began to shift position, their weapons powering up for what promised to be a devastating assault. The next phase of the war was about to begin, and the fate of Earth hung in the balance. Humanity had won its first major victory, but the Zarkonians were about to show why they had conquered 1,000 worlds. As she watched the ominous movements of the alien ships from a hastily established command center, Samantha Chen knew that the real battle was just beginning. The question now was, could humanity's newfound knowledge and restored hope stand against the full might of an interstellar empire? The answer would determine the future of Earth and the human race itself. The turning point. The Zarkonian retaliation was swift and merciless. In the days following the Battle of the Outback, the alien forces unleashed a barrage of attacks that made their initial invasion seem almost gentle by comparison. From their orbiting motherships, they rained down destruction on a scale never before seen in human history. Cities that had been spared in the first wave now found themselves under siege. The streets of Rio de Janeiro, the boulevards of Paris, the sprawling suburbs of Johannesburg, all became battlegrounds as Zarkonian ground forces pushed to reassert their dominance. In the Rocky Mountain facility, now serving as the de facto capital of free humanity, Dr. Samantha Chen and her team worked feverishly to build upon their breakthrough. The EM pulse technology that had proven so effective in Australia was being refined and mass-produced, but it wouldn't be enough on its own to turn the tide of the war. "We need something more," Samantha insisted during a tense strategy meeting. "The pulses are effective, but their range is limited. We need a way to hit them where they're most vulnerable, in orbit." It was Dr. Tanaka who provided the spark of inspiration. "What if we could use their own quantum network against them?" she proposed. "If we can infiltrate it deeply enough, we might be able to trigger a cascading failure across their entire fleet." The idea was audacious, bordering on the impossible. But as General Hawthorne grimly reminded them, impossible is our stock in trade these days. As the scientists set to work on this new strategy, reports continued to pour in from around the globe. The news was grim, but not without hope. In Europe, a coalition of resistance fighters had managed to liberate Paris, using salvage Zarkonian weapons to devastating effect. In the South China Sea, a ragtag fleet of civilian ships and remnants of various naval forces were waging a guerrilla war against alien patrols, proving that humanity could fight back even on the oceans. But the most surprising development came from an unexpected quarter. In the dense jungles of the Amazon, where the Zarkonians had established a massive base to exploit the region's resources, something extraordinary was happening. The alien forces were being decimated not by human resistance, but by the jungle itself. Plants grew at impossible speeds, entangling and crushing Zarkonian war machines. Bizarre diseases laid low entire battalions of alien troops. When satellite imagery confirmed the strange occurrences, Dr. Chen was baffled. "It's as if the entire ecosystem is fighting back," she mused. "But how is that possible?" The answer came from Dr. Diego Vargas, a Brazilian botanist who had been part of a research team studying the Amazon's biodiversity before the invasion. "It's the trees," he explained, his eyes wide with a mixture of awe and excitement. "They're communicating, coordinating their defense through a network of fungal threads in the soil. Somehow, they've adapted to perceive the Zarkonians as a threat and are responding accordingly." This revelation opened up a new front in humanity's resistance. If Earth's biosphere itself could be leveraged against the invaders, it could change the entire dynamic of the war. As researchers worked to understand and possibly replicate the Amazon phenomenon, Dr. Chen's team made a breakthrough in their quantum network infiltration efforts. By piggybacking on the Zarkonians' own communications, they managed to insert a virus-like code into the alien systems. The effect was not immediately apparent, but over the following days, reports began to trickle in of Zarkonian ships behaving erratically. Some lost power and drifted in orbit. Others fired on their own forces. The alien command structure began to show signs of strain as their once impeccable coordination faltered. Seizing the opportunity, General Hawthorne ordered a coordinated global counteroffensive. Resistance forces around the world, armed with EM pulse weapons and bolstered by the chaos in the Zarkonian ranks, launched simultaneous attacks on alien strongholds. The Battle of Seven Continents, as it came to be known, was the largest and most complex military operation in human history. From the frozen wastes of Antarctica to the scorching deserts of the Sahara, humanity fought with a ferocity born of desperation and hope. In orbit, the crew of the International Space Station, which had managed to evade destruction thanks to some brilliant maneuvering and jury-rigged stealth technology, played a crucial role. Using their unique vantage point, they coordinated the global assault, directing forces to weak points in the Zarkonian defenses. The tide of battle ebbed and flowed for days. There were moments of triumph, like when resistance forces in North America managed to bring down a Zarkonian mothership over the ruins of Chicago. There were also setbacks as alien forces rallied and pushed back human advances in several theaters. But the pivotal moment came when Dr. Chen, working with a team of hackers and quantum physicists, managed to fully penetrate the Zarkonian command network. For a brief window, they had unprecedented access to the alien strategic planning and communication channels. What they discovered was shocking. The Zarkonians, for all their advanced technology and military might, were not the all-powerful conquerors they presented themselves to be. They were stretched thin, their forces spread across multiple fronts in a galaxy-spanning war. Earth, it seemed, was just one of many worlds they were attempting to subjugate. More importantly, the Zarkonian High Command was in disarray. The unexpected resistance from Earth had thrown their carefully laid plans into chaos. There were signs of disagreement and even mutiny within their ranks. Armed with this intelligence, humanity pressed its advantage. In a daring operation, a coalition of special forces teams from a dozen nations launched an assault on the Zarkonian command ship in orbit. Using captured alien shuttles and the element of surprise, they managed to fight their way to the bridge. There, in a moment that would be forever etched in human history, General Hawthorne himself faced off against the Zarkonian High Commander. The alien leader, its blue skin pale and its eyes wide with disbelief, uttered a single word before Hawthorne's team subdued it: impossible. With the capture of the Zarkonian command ship and the disruption of their network, the alien forces on Earth fell into disarray. Deprived of central coordination and faced with a humanity united and determined like never before, the invaders began to retreat. As the sun rose on the 8th day of the Battle of 7 Continents, humanity dared to hope that the tide had finally, irrevocably turned. The Zarkonian invasion force was in full retreat, their once mighty armada reduced to a scattered, demoralized rabble. But even as celebrations erupted across the globe, Dr. Samantha Chen and her team knew that their work was far from over. The capture of the Zarkonian command ship had provided them with a treasure trove of alien technology and information. Now they faced a new challenge, leveraging this knowledge not just to defend Earth, but to take the fight to the stars. The war for Earth had been won. The war for humanity's place in the galaxy was about to begin. Humanity's leap to the stars. In the months following the decisive Battle of 7 Continents, Earth experienced a renaissance unlike any in its history. The capture of the Zarkonian command ship had provided humanity with a technological windfall beyond their wildest dreams. Scientists and engineers from every corner of the globe worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets of alien science, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge at an unprecedented pace. Dr. Samantha Chen found herself at the center of this whirlwind of discovery. The Rocky Mountain facility, once a hidden bunker of resistance, had been transformed into a sprawling research complex. Here, minds from every scientific discipline collaborated, breaking down the barriers between fields in their quest to understand and replicate Zarkonian technology. It's like trying to teach calculus to a caveman, Samantha mused one day, rubbing her tired eyes as she pored over schematics for the alien faster-than-light drive. We're making progress, but there's still so much we don't understand. Dr. Tanaka, working beside her, nodded in agreement. But we're learning. Every day, we're learning. And we have to, because they'll be back. The they she referred to wasn't just the Zarkonians. Interrogation of captured alien officers had revealed a galaxy far more complex and dangerous than humanity had ever imagined. The Zarkonian Empire was just one of several interstellar powers vying for dominance. Earth's successful resistance had put humanity on the galactic map, for better or worse. Driven by this knowledge, the nations of Earth set aside their old rivalries and united in a way never before seen in human history. The United Earth Government was formed, with the primary goal of preparing humanity for its emergence onto the galactic stage. The first major project of this new era was the construction of Earth's first faster-than-light capable ship. Named the Phoenix in honor of humanity's rise from the ashes of near defeat, the vessel was a hybrid of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered Zarkonian technology. As the Phoenix took shape in a massive orbital shipyard, Dr. Chen led the team developing its revolutionary propulsion system. The work was grueling, with setbacks and explosions a common occurrence, but with each failure came new understanding, and slowly but surely, the impossible began to become possible. Finally, after years of tireless effort, the day of the Phoenix's maiden voyage arrived. As the ship prepared to depart from Earth orbit, billions watched with bated breath. Dr. Chen, along with a crew of Earth's finest scientists and military personnel, stood on the bridge, a mix of excitement and trepidation coursing through her veins. "All systems are go," reported the ship's eye, an advanced construct born from the marriage of human and Zarkonian computer technology. FTL drive is spooled and ready. Captain Sarah Rodriguez, a decorated veteran of the Earth-Zarkonian War, took a deep breath before giving the order. "Take us out." With a flash of light that momentarily outshone the sun, the Phoenix vanished from Earth orbit, reappearing moments later on the edge of the solar system. Cheers erupted both on the ship and back on Earth. Humanity had taken its first step into the cosmic ocean. But this was no mere test flight. Armed with intelligence gathered from the captured Zarkonian databases, Earth had a bold and dangerous plan. They would take the fight directly to the heart of the Zarkonian Empire. The journey took several weeks, each faster-than-light jump bringing them closer to enemy territory. Along the way, they encountered wonders that defied imagination. Vast nebulae shimmering with newborn stars, the ghostly remnants of long-dead civilizations, and evidence of cosmic engineering on a scale that humbled even the most ambitious human projects. As they approached Zarkon Prime, the capital world of the Empire, tension on the Phoenix reached a fever pitch. The plan was audacious. Using a combination of stealth technology and the element of surprise, they would infiltrate the planet's defenses and deploy a quantum virus designed to cripple the Zarkonians' central command structure. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations as one of the most daring military operations ever conceived. The Phoenix, vastly outgunned but piloted with incredible skill, danced between the massive Zarkonian warships. Dr. Chen and her team worked feverishly to keep the ship's experimental systems online as they absorbed punishing blows. In a heart-stopping moment, Captain Rodriguez executed a maneuver that would have been impossible with conventional technology, diving the Phoenix into the atmosphere of Zarkon Prime itself. As they streaked across the alien sky, Dr. Chen activated the quantum virus, sending it cascading through the planet's defense grid. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Zarkonian ships began to lose power, their formation crumbling into chaos. On the surface, massive structures went dark as the virus spread through the planet's infrastructure. As the Phoenix climbed back into orbit, the crew watched in awe as the once mighty Zarkonian fleet drifted helplessly. Without central coordination, the vast war machine that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries ground to a halt. But the victory came at a cost. The Phoenix, battered by the intense combat, was on the verge of breaking apart. As warning klaxons blare in systems failed across the ship, Dr. Chen realized that their return to Earth was far from guaranteed. In that moment of crisis, help arrived from an unexpected quarter. A sleek, silver ship unlike anything they had ever seen before appeared alongside the Phoenix. A communication channel opened, and a melodious voice spoke in perfect English. "Greetings, warriors of Earth. We are the Aetheri, and we have been watching your struggle with great interest. You have proven yourselves worthy of joining the galactic community. Allow us to assist you." As the Aetheri ship extended a shimmering energy field around the Phoenix, stabilizing its failing systems, Dr. Chen and the crew realized that they stood at the threshold of a new era. Humanity had not only defended itself against one alien threat, but had inadvertently reshaped the balance of power in the galaxy. The journey back to Earth was filled with equal parts triumph and trepidation. They had won a great victory, but at what cost? And what challenges awaited humanity in this vast, complex, and often hostile universe they had thrust themselves into? As the blue marble of Earth came into view, Dr. Samantha Chen knew that their greatest adventures and greatest challenges still lay ahead. A new era for Earth. The return of the Phoenix to Earth orbit was met with jubilation on a scale never before seen in human history. As the battered ship, escorted by the sleek ethery vessel, came into view of the home planet, billions of people across the globe erupted in celebration. The successful mission to Zarkon Prime had not only crippled humanity's greatest threat, but had also announced Earth's arrival on the galactic stage in spectacular fashion. Dr. Samantha Chen, along with the rest of the Phoenix crew, received a hero's welcome upon their return. As they stepped off the ship, still bearing the scars of their harrowing battle, they were greeted by a world forever changed by their actions. In the weeks and months that followed, Earth found itself at the center of a whirlwind of diplomatic activity. The Etheri, true to their word, had introduced humanity to the wider galactic community. Representatives from dozens of alien species arrived on Earth, some seeking alliances, others simply curious about the species that had managed to defeat the dreaded Zarkonian Empire. The United Earth government, still in its infancy, was suddenly thrust into the role of representing humanity on a cosmic scale. Dr. Chen found herself serving as a key advisor, her expertise in both alien technology and interspecies communication proving invaluable. "We need to proceed with caution," she warned during a high-level meeting with Earth's leaders. "We've made a splash in the galactic community, but we're still newcomers. There's so much we don't understand about the political landscape out there." Indeed, the aftermath of the Zarkonian defeat had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The power vacuum left by the crumbling empire had sparked conflicts and opportunistic land grabs by other spacefaring civilizations. Earth, as the catalyst for this change, found itself in a precarious position. But with great challenges came great opportunities. The influx of alien knowledge and technology accelerated Earth's development at an unprecedented rate. Cities devastated by the Zarkonian invasion were rebuilt using advanced materials and techniques, becoming marvels of architecture that blended human aesthetics with alien efficiency. The global economy underwent a radical transformation as trade routes opened up with other worlds. Earth's unique biodiversity, something many alien species found fascinating, became a valuable export. In return, humanity gained access to technologies and resources beyond their wildest dreams. Perhaps the most profound changes were cultural. The confirmation of alien life and humanity's sudden introduction to a diverse galactic community led to a renaissance in art, philosophy, and science. New schools of thought emerged, grappling with humanity's place in the cosmos and the nature of consciousness itself. Dr. Chen found herself at the forefront of many of these developments. Her work on integrating alien technology with human systems led to breakthroughs in medicine, energy production, and environmental restoration. The scars left by the Zarkonian invasion began to heal, and Earth started to flourish in ways that would have been impossible before. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The rapid pace of change led to social upheavals and resistance from those who feared the loss of human identity in the face of alien influence. Fringe groups emerged, some advocating for isolation from galactic affairs, others pushing for aggressive expansion and colonization of other worlds. The greatest challenge came 5 years after the Phoenix's historic mission. A distress signal was detected from a human colony on a distant world, one of the first established in the wake of Earth's emergence onto the galactic stage. The colony had gone dark, all communication ceasing abruptly. As Earth scrambled to respond, sending a fleet of newly constructed starships to investigate, Dr. Chen couldn't shake a feeling of dread. The pattern was eerily familiar, reminiscent of how the Zarkonians had first announced their presence years ago. Standing on the bridge of the flagship of the response fleet, fittingly named Horizon, Dr. Chen gazed out at the star-studded void. Earth was no longer alone in the universe, no longer confined to a single world. But with that expansion came new responsibilities and new dangers. As the horizon prepared to make the jump to faster than light speed, Samantha reflected on the incredible journey that had brought humanity to this point. From the terror of alien invasion to the triumph of victory, from a species confined to one world to a budding interstellar civilization, it had been a transformation beyond anything she could have imagined when she first detected that fateful signal at Arecibo. "Ready for jump, Dr. Chen," the ship's captain announced, snapping her out of her reverie. Samantha nodded, a mix of determination and excitement coursing through her. Whatever lay ahead, be it a new threat, a cosmic mystery, or simply the next step in humanity's grand adventure, she knew that Earth would face it together, stronger and more united than ever before. "Let's see what's out there," she said, her voice steady and resolute. With a flash of light, the horizon leaped into the unknown, carrying with it the hopes, dreams, and indomitable spirit of humanity. The stars awaited, and Earth was ready to meet them. As the ship disappeared into the cosmic void, the story of humanity's rise from a besieged world to a galactic power came to a close. But in many ways, it was just the beginning. The universe was vast, full of wonders and dangers yet to be discovered, and humanity, tested by fire and tempered by adversity, was ready to write the next chapter in its cosmic saga. The era of Earth's isolation was over. The age of exploration, diplomacy, and cosmic adventure had begun, and at the heart of it all was the unbreakable spirit that had allowed humanity to triumph against impossible odds, the spirit that would now guide them as they took their place among the stars.